Good to see you again, Dave, and good to meet you, Allison, and so excited to chat with you both for Together. Now, first and foremost, I love that this is your first proper on-screen pairing since the 1-2 punch of Disaster Artist and Little Hours. So what is it about this film that spoke to you to want to get back on screen together, but also, how do you go about finding the perfect projects to star in together?
I mean, I think we are kind of actively trying to find something to do together every couple years just because we have the greatest time. And like
usually Dave has to write it, so that takes a long time.
That takes a while. Yeah, that takes yeah, that's fair. And then in terms of choosing the right thing, like a lot of people do come to us to play couples in certain scripts, but we're pretty selective because we don't want to overexpose ourselves as a couple and make everyone sick of seeing us.
Yeah.
But this felt like the right one because the couple in the movie, they've been together over 10 years, and we felt like our real relationship could lend itself really well to that dynamic.
Well, I love that, and I can't wait to see how that dynamic plays out. Yeah. And so, obviously, you're no stranger to horror either. Scream 4, The Rental, but I'm curious, what is it like returning to the genre, and how did you find maybe Michael did something differently, than Wes and then yourself did with The Rental?
Yeah.
This movie is so different from anything either of us have done before.
Oh, yeah.
And from a lot of horror that's out there. I think physically the demands were higher than anything I've done before. And we've both done really physical work. Yeah. But the demands in this movie are bizarre. And
bruises over my entire body by the end. We documented the whole thing to prove it.
I do think, Scream 4 is so great and fun, but I had a sort of a smaller role. This is truly like, it's the two of us the whole time, all day, every day, at a 10, So I think it was just, we were sort of like kids diving into that, the fun, like really the fun of the horror. Let's make a movie,
And then in terms of how Shanks is different than me as a director, I think he's incredible with VFX. This is the world that he comes from, and this movie has a lot of practical effects, but it has a lot of VFX as well, and he's just a master, and it's very beautiful. It's like when you think of body horror, sometimes you think like very gross and like squishy and whatever, and there's elements of that, but at the same time he did something that it's just like
it's elevated,
it's
elegant body horror.
Yes,
that's not something we see often in the subgenre, but I love that tease. Again, I can't wait to see how that goes, but we will get in there and we'll see it. So thank you both so much for taking the time. I truly do appreciate it.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Good seeing you again, and good meeting you.
Nice to meet you.
Hey, nice to meet you as well. Really excited to, first of all, get in there after we talk. But first and foremost, Dave and Allison, I heard you singing their praises of working with them as actors, but I'd love to hear what it was like working with them as producers as well to really support your vision for what the story was.
Well, I think support is the operative word there. They were sort of, as with many of our producers, just like a shield around myself and the project to make sure that it stayed true to what was on the page and that we got the best out of it.
I also couldn't help hear where you mentioned now you were trying to look for new scenes that maybe you hadn't seen in the horror genre before because you're a big horror fan. But did you find that there were certain movies that maybe influenced your, approach to not just the style but also the body horror in this film?
Definitely. It's when you talk about like body horror, you can't look past John Carpenter's The Thing, Cronenberg's The Fly, obviously. But in terms of other stuff that I found like really inspirational for this film, like the Kiyoshi Kurosawa movie Cure is just something that really kind of haunts me. And in terms of some of the camera moves, like I hope that you can maybe feel some influence of some like early Shyamalan in that. Just a guy whose camera direction I just always thought is exquisite. Specifically something like Signs, it was a really formative film for me when I saw it when I was a kid.
I love that you mentioned Signs, by the way, because that is one of my most underrated favorite.
Totally underrated. I love it. I find it like it's moving. It's got this real kind of humanist heart at the center of it, and yet it scared the shit out of me as a kid, and it still does. I love it.
It's such a great chiller. Now, obviously, this is also very much a film about the relationship at the heart of the story as it is about the larger horror elements. What is that like, not only as a writer, but also a director, really ensuring that you're balancing both of those formulas and that's, those tones throughout?
Well, that was definitely the stuff that I found scariest about the project. The work that I've done in the past has largely been sort of more comedic or more ironic, and you can kind of hide behind that. But here there are scenes where we're going for the jugular of just couples butting heads. And as somebody that's been in a relationship myself, like for a long time, much like the couple in the film, it's it can get real, it can get intense. But with these guys, they're just such pros. Like I needn't have worried. Like you just get there on the set and it's like, okay, cool, this works. You guys are nailing it. Great.
They truly are a dynamic duo when they're together. So I'm glad that they wanted to join you. And so for my final question, what is one of the biggest things that you're really looking forward to audiences taking away from this film? Is it the relationship drama? Is it just the fun of the horror? What are you looking forward to?
I think for me, one of the jumping off points to starting any project is like, I really want to make something that is, I don't want to be like, I want to make weird shit, but like, I want to make stuff that hopefully feels really unique. But I like kind of putting that through kind of a structure that is really graspable and really quite entertainment and really audience forward. So I hope that people are coming away from this being like, what the hell was that? But also never kind of losing their way and really feel taken through an exciting sort of narrative.
Well, I really look forward to seeing what kind of journey you've got in store for us when we get in there afterwards. But truly an honor to chat with you already. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
Take care.